This is Brendan, and today I'll be covering the Worldwide Auctioneers Auction here at the Kruse Plaza in Auburn, Indiana. So with that, let's get right into the video. So today we'll be doing a walk around of all the cars that are for sale here at the auction, and I'll also be making some short reels showing specific vehicles. So you guys will have to check that stuff out on my channel, linked below. This will probably be a couple hour video where we just go through everything and show you guys all the vehicles, and there'll be no commentary during it. There'll just be some music playing and get everything shown. So there's a couple hundred vehicles inside. Without further ado, let's get in there. Isn't it the 356? It's like my favorite Porsche. Without reserve. The Mercedes and this Porsche are a pretty killer combo. You're good. Isn't it? It's cool. The Aston's sweet. It'd be cool if they had this Jag and that Porsche back there together. This has been room 1 so far of who knows how many more. I think 3-4 more rooms. So let's go through this doorway and check some more cars out. All right, and here we are in the next room. So we'll just continue off where we started. We'll go this way. at the size of the bed on this truck. That's huge. We could come here more days, or I could too. Because it was 3 days.
Maybe.
Look at the motorcycle.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty damn cool.
I didn't realize when I first walked through, but this Lincoln Zephyr has a pretty crazy secret going on around the back. Look at those exhaust pipes. This thing has to have hundreds, if not thousands of man hours put in it. Wow, that is crazy. Never seen a car that looked like this. Look at the gauge cluster, if you call it a gauge cluster. Look at that. It's a globe.
Oh my God.
It's like an orb.
That's cool.
This thing is crazy. I wonder what a car like this would go for at auction. And then you got your own like sci-fi Tron bike looking thing with it. That is sweet. That is so cool. Look at the VIP setup in the back of this Volkswagen bus. It'd be interesting to see what this thing goes for. That is sweet, and you got your own mini fridge that matches the color of the interior inside. And it's a 23 split window too. All right, we got another segment to go through, so let's get right into it. Look at that bar. That Cadillac is crazy looking. Dang. Look at the shifter in this thing. That is longer than my arm. It's huge. That is sweet. And you got what looks kind of like air intakes up there. Wild. It's got 12,000 miles on it. Look at this immaculate car with 12,500 miles on it. It's crazy to see a Cadillac this old and this good a shape. But there's a lot of really crazy cars here, so can't spend all my time on it, but it's really sweet. And with that, we got some more rooms to head to, so let's head out of here and head a different direction. Was there more cars this other way too, or
More that way.
more that way?
And then
Did you go all the way down to that into the Abbey?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so then there's another room down this hallway.
Okay,
Yep.
sounds good.
There's 3 over here and 1 over here.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
actually, there's 2 rooms over here.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, there we go.
Well, it's the.
So we got quite a bit
auctioneer.
left.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got 2 more rooms this way to shoot in this video, so let's get right into it. In this room, it looks like we've got some of the bigger toys. We've got a Ford GT there, a Vector over here, H1 Hummer down there, so it's too much stuff to get into over here. It's crazy. There's some really sweet vehicles in this place, so it's hard to give all of them enough time, but it's what we're trying to do, so let's get started this way. Yeah, we'll have to end on that one. That one's cool. Check this thing out. This makes some serious horsepower. That is a sweet Porsche. It's a Weissach Edition RS, so can't beat that. But let's show some other cool cars over here. We even got a 300 SL on the building today, which is wild. It's a multi-million-dollar car. Oh, look at the Ferrari down there.
Oh, I like it though. It's not needed right.
The Hummer's pretty mean. Could you imagine owning a Hummer like that? You like mine better?
So like the lines, the 1.7.
Check this Hummer out. As you guys know, I have a 2003 H2, which still pretty partial to the H2, but this would be a really mean addition to have with that. This thing's really sweet for an H1. And if it didn't have all this stuff on the roof, my H2 would still be taller. And honestly, my seats are a little bigger. Looks like it has H3 Alpha seats in it. That is wild. This is a really sweet vehicle. Urban Assault Bruiser Cruiser. No, I was wrong. This H1 is actually an Alpha edition, which that raises the price significantly on one of these. I'm sure this truck is easily 150 or more. It'll be cool to see what it goes for at the auction, but that's a sweet truck. And continuing on the perimeter, let's get started on this row of cars. Look at the Countach.
Where you want to be?
Let's get started on this row of cars. That's cool, that Porsche. Oh, that's a rough. So this is probably $500,000 Porsche because of that. Oh, we got cars driving by still from the shop. Look at that old Alpha. That is cool. Not every day that you see cars like that driving past. And there's a Countach getting worked on over there. And before we start on the big dog, let's show off some more cars in this room over here. Huge this car is just compared to a normal person. I'm not that tall, but I'm 5'11", 200-ish pounds, and I look tiny compared to this thing. And this vehicle looks like it was built for Audra the Giant to drive. It's huge. I mean, this car is easily 8 foot tall, 9 foot tall. This is wild. And take a look at the interior in this. It's all gilded out with bronze and wood. You could practically fit 3 people in the front. And then you got these cool split seats here in the rear end of it, and a rear bench right behind them. Kind of set up like an old-fashioned limousine inside. Look at the craftsmanship on this car, this brass era car. I would say I'd be afraid to drive something like this on the road, but I think everybody else would be afraid of you if you were passing them in this. Take a look at that front end. I wouldn't have known this was a Pierce unless it said otherwise on it. And there's the spare tires. That is crazy. I couldn't imagine lugging those off and changing them. And the wheels on this are made out of wood. You can even see it close up. You can see the grain on them. It's pretty crazy. Well, let's get into some other cars here. That thing is cool. Take it. Alright, here's one of the main featured cars of this auction. This 2003 BMW Z8 Roadster, and it is an Alpina edition, as you can tell when we go walk around it. Look at the rims on this thing. This is sweet. The spec of this is a James Bond villain's dream. Look at the interior of it. That red and black. Really cool looking car. These BMWs were kind of made to look like cars of the 50s and 60s, and you can see it with all the chrome throughout and just the body lines of this thing, and especially the steering wheel and just some of the interior. Really classy looking car. But the main event of this auction is this black Mercedes 300 SEL that's behind me, and honestly I don't know too much about it until I read the sticker on it, but isn't this thing amazing looking? See, not many people get to say they've seen a real Galway Mercedes in person, but this thing is cool. This is a really nice car. It'd be interesting to see what this thing goes for at auction. I mean, I've seen these cars sell 2-3 million. Some of them have sold for even more than that. Roachy examples that need lots of work anymore seem like they go for the $1 million to $2 million kind of category. And this hones back to when these old German cars had plaid interiors in them. Back when this was made, BMWs could have had plaid interiors optioned, Porsches too, so really unique looking car inside. And seeing it in person, it's honestly a little bigger than you think seeing it online. It's a really cool car. It's bigger than this Corvette over here, so it's definitely got some size to it. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what this goes for at auction. And you've even got matching luggage inside of it that matches the interior color of the car. Really sweet vehicle. And peeking at the tag on this, this is a 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL gull-wing coupe. So, really cool car. Not to be overshadowed, here's a pretty sweet looking Porsche 911. The first time I came to this auction a couple of years ago, I was driving down the road to my old work and I saw a Porsche 911 that looked just like this on the side of the road. And I decided to pull over and see what was going on with them, if they're broke down or not. And it was actually having pictures taken for the event, so that's what got me into coming to these events. And I'll definitely go to many more to come. It's cool. You also got a Porsche gas pump over here. This is really sweet. That took a lot of work for somebody to make something like that. That's the cool thing about this event, is you got other little trinkets and stuff thrown in around it. So it's not just cars, it's antiques, you got signs. And in this other room, there should be more props, signs, collectible stuff for sale. So let's get right into it. I did pan over this segment while we were going through, but there is cars still being worked on for the auction. This is really cool. We got kind of a mock gas station over here with a cord on a lift. This looks like a 1940s style, 1930s kind of gas station right here. Really cool. The detail goes down to the cans. It's crazy. There's some really cool stuff at this event. Just like that rough 911 over there, which is easily a couple $100,000 car. And we've still got vehicles being moved around in this other room, but let's get into it and start showing stuff off. Before I cut to music, here's another brass era car, but this one is way smaller than the last one. Look at the white tires it's got on it. I'll stand next to it in comparison, just so you can see this versus the Pierce. And this is way smaller. This is closer to a Volkswagen Beetle-ish kind of size, where the other one was bigger than that Hummer H1 over there. But we started going this way. Take a look at this thing. This is a test. Is this a test cockpit that you'd use in the military if you were training? I'm not 100% sure, but this is pretty wild to see here at a car auction. And it's even on like a dolly system, so it can be moved around. It's crazy. And just to show off a bit more of the atmosphere here, I mean, it looks like there's a whole World War II battle going on in the ceiling of this place with these planes. This is really cool. How many car auctions you go to have this many props and just stuff strewn about? This stuff over here is all part of the auction that you can bid on. All kinds of different signs, even a DeLorean Motor Company sign, which I'm sure that's going to go for some big money. But we also have two more cars over here. This really sweet Mustang Mach 1 with a 5.0 from a newer Mustang swapped into it. That is a sweet resto mod with Willwood brakes and a modernized interior. Honestly, if I was to buy a classic car, something like this would be it. Look at the interior in this thing. It even has like a whole center console out of a newer car. And the seats are from a newer Mustang too. That is cool. And then here we got a special edition Trans Am. That's pretty neat. And here's some signs over here, part of this whole setup. So this stuff's really cool. This stuff will all be part of the normal auction going on. And if you have cool memorabilia like this too, or cars, through the link below, through the website here, maybe you can sell stuff through one of the next auctions. See, all these items have lot numbers on them too, just like the cars. That's a cool arcade unit. Be really interesting to see what this stuff goes for. That's not the screen doing that, it's just doing it because of the refresh rate, but this thing's in really good shape for its age. There's a McDonald's sign. I need that for my bedroom. We got some really cool automotive signs here. A McLaren sign, vintage Honda sign, Dairy Queen sign. Look at this neon, that is cool. Old Soapbox Derby car. Every year it's different stuff, so you never know what you're gonna see here. Just like this. I almost want to sit in it and ride it. So we've only got a couple more cars to cover, and they're outside over here under this tent, and then we'll see everything here. So let's get outside and take a look at those cars. So I figured we'll start our way from the back and move to the front here. Look at all these cars in here. There's a lot of cool stuff. We got a convertible Accord over there next to an Oldsmobile station wagon, an old Ford Mustang, Plymouth. Huge different range of cars out here. You even got an MX-5 Miata next to these cars, which is pretty crazy. These cars must still be getting ready to go into the building for the auction. As you guys could see during our walk around, they're still moving cars in and out around here. So not everything's completely said and done yet where these cars are positioned. We got a classic BMW over here, similar to the one that I was showing off in a YouTube reel inside. Got a little Healy over there. There's a Woody. You got an Oldsmobile Buick Riviera. Oh, up here we got a Cadillac XLR, which that's sweet. It's a really neat car next to an old Chevy Bel Air and a Thunderbird, and that probably has to be one of my favorite cars here, this Bentley. It's pretty crazy. Earlier over on the lot there's a swap meet going on over here too for the weekend. They had like a Maserati and a couple other cars, an old like Maserati kind of like this Prato Porte, and I probably kind of butchered the name, but it was pretty cool to see. This thing is really sweet though. I would ride in this. And this is without reserve. We've seen some really cool cars today. Recent $11,000, $858 service. That is crazy. And it has 32,000 original miles. We got an old Lincoln. Here's the XLR. It's in really good shape for its age. 2,000 miles. That's nothing for a car like that. And we got a Chevy 3100 truck. So some real neat cars in here. And that Bel Air looks like it's a resto mod. A little bit of a resto mod. Pretty sweet looking car. Alright, I don't want you guys to think that I forgot the Vector that we walked past when I first entered. I figured we'd kind of save one of the best besides that one for last. So this thing is really cool. I think these were only made as concept cars, honestly. I didn't think they made that many of these, but this is a really special looking car. I'd love to do a video over something like this. I just don't know too much about it. I didn't think I'd see something like this in person here. If you look through these windows on this thing, it's got molded leather. It's like kind of curved as the door panels. Really cool. And this is where the engine is in the back of this Vector. And that's not for show. That's all functional. It's also got some huge Brembo brakes on it. This thing looks like something out of a sci-fi movie from the 80s or 90s. It's really cool. So with that, this is going to be my final car today, wrapping up the auction. So I hope everybody's enjoyed my little tour of the cars for sale here. So with that being said, this was the August of 2025 Worldwide Auctioneers Auction at the Kruse Auction Park in Auburn, Indiana. So if you guys are interested in any of the cars shown here, like this, the Gullwing, or even some of the other stuff here, I mean, there's cars for everybody at this auction, ranging from Volkswagen Beetles to multi-million-dollar classic sports cars. So there's a little bit of something here for everyone. There will be links in the description below with the website information if you guys want to come here and look at some of these cars, or even if you wanted to inquire about selling stuff at one of these other auctions. You know, you can sell collectibles here, you can sell cars here. It just really depends on what you want to do. So with that, I'm going to be wrapping this video up, and I'm going to get on headed out of here, but hope everybody enjoyed, and there should be more content like this to come. So peace out.